Hi everyone, welcome back to Divorce Den, where our focus is on helping you create your best future during and after divorce. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and we're going to be taking a deep dive into this very sensitive topic. So please understand the lens that we're coming through is talking to you about if you are a survivor of sexual assault, whether it is outside of your relationship or more specifically, if it's from within your relationship, you have options to leave the relationship that do not involve running to court. We are not going to be giving you legal advice. I'm not going to be telling you what to do, that you need to do this, that you need to do that. What I am going to do is talk to you about options that you might have that are going to bring you peace in the future and something for you to think about so that you're not re-traumatized by the entire situation over and over again. So today, if you're thinking about getting divorced or separated, we're going to discuss two main ways that you can consider moving forward. There are other ways, but these are the two main ways that we're going to talk about. How divorce mediation can keep you out of court, keep all of your information private, and help you move forward without re-traumatizing you. And the second option is to go to court, to litigate your divorce matter and move it forward in the court system in order for you to remove yourself from this marriage. So very generally, if you don't know what divorce mediation is, what it entails is one person, a neutral mediator. So it's usually a trained mediator. It can be a trained attorney, sometimes a mental health professional or a financial professional. But it's one person who's working with the both of you to help you resolve all of the issues of the marriage. You don't go to court. You don't have court appearances. You don't have court deadlines. And that person is not a judge. They're not a decision maker. They're going to help the both of you come to an agreement that you're both happy with moving forward. Three things that I will suggest if you are a survivor of sexual assault and you're choosing the mediation process. Number one, you really should have your own legal counsel outside of the mediation room, or maybe even involved in the mediation itself. Some mediators will allow attorneys to attend sessions, and some of them prefer for you to bring any agreements or documents to the attorney afterwards to discuss your options. But knowing what your legal rights are is very important. So I do suggest that even if you don't want to retain an attorney, at least speak to one, have a consultation, even if it's a paid consultation, just to get an idea of what you might be entitled to, what some of the pitfalls might be, and what you should look out for if you're in divorce mediation. The second thing that I will suggest is that even with mediation ongoing, and even though you are trying to come to a resolution, taking care of yourself is important, including therapy. Please find a support group or a therapist to help you get over the trauma and start to work through the issues that you've gone through. Sexual assault is not something to be taken lightly. Number one, it's a crime. Number two, it can really take a big toll on you emotionally. It starts to mess with your head, makes you think things that are true, are not, makes you question your sense of reality. So having a good emotional support system is really important. So number one, get a good attorney. Number two, please get a good therapist. Number three, please be patient. Be patient with yourself, be patient with the process, and know that this is not going to be done overnight. You're not going to be able to rush through a divorce, and you're certainly not going to be able to rush through the healing that's going to have to take place from the trauma that you endured. So some of the benefits of staying in the divorce mediation process, as opposed to running to court, if you're the survivor of a sexual assault within that relationship, is control. Number one is control. If you're in the court system, you lose all sense of control over the scheduling, over how long you have to stay for each appearance, what's due in between each appearance, what it is that you're required to complete and fill out. All of it is completely outside of your control. And specifically what happens when you're in the courthouse, how it is that the judge is going to react, what it is that the judge's schedule is, how busy they are, how packed they are. These are things that are completely outside of your control. In the mediation process, you're in control of all of that. You can meet during times that make sense to you, times that you have off of work, times that you can get childcare. You can do it via Zoom, so you don't necessarily have to travel. So the control over the process itself, how you're moving forward in the divorce world, really is in your control when you're not in court. Part of that control is you get to regulate your emotions, and you do not have to be traumatized by being in court. The court itself is a triggering place to be. even if you are not the survivor of sexual assault, even if you have not endured any type of violence, domestic violence, any sexual assault, or even high conflict divorce. If you've experienced none of that and you walk into court, you will see how stressful it is. But imagine adding on the stresses and the burden of all of this emotional baggage that has been placed upon you. And now you're put in a court system where there are so many moving parts. There are people yelling, there are calendar calls, there are people navigating in and out of the halls, little tiny spaces where people are trying to talk and make agreements, and you're just there stuck in the middle. Sometimes you might even be asked to speak in the courthouse to either a court reporter, to the judge, to a law clerk, and that can feel re-victimizing. It can feel like, I don't even know what to say. I don't know how it is I'm supposed to approach this. I'm not even talking about if you're at trial. I'm talking about just during regular conferences. The court system is not there to protect you. It is not there to consider your feelings. The court system is there to serve the interests of the people, take your case, look at it through a legal lens, and then move it forward. They are not there to hold your hand, and they are not there to protect you. In mediation, you have control over everything. Not only, like I said, the scheduling of it, when you're going to be able to meet up, but also the speed at which you go, the communication style that you choose, pulling in other professionals who might be able to assist with maybe that communication. It's too hard to speak to your soon to be ex. Well, then let's bring in a mental health professional or a divorce coach or someone else who can express things in a way that maybe you want to, but you cannot do right now. Again, you can have an attorney who can assist with this, a coach. No matter what, you get to pick. You get to choose who comes into the process, where in court, it's up to the judge to pick. In addition, in court, you might be required to give testimony about the sexual assault, what happened. In the mediation process, I'm not saying that you hide it, but you don't necessarily have to put it out there on the table. You don't have to relive every detail of the horror that was inflicted upon you. You can say, you know what, I'm going to save that for my therapist, my coach. I'm going to move on emotionally from that outside of this space. But while I'm here, I'm going to be focusing on moving forward with the divorce. And you don't have to mention the sexual assault, and you don't have to mention any of the details of it. Another benefit is that mediation is private. When we are talking about things, even if you do want to talk about the incidents that have happened to you and you want to talk about some of the details, it's going to be private. It's going to be you and your soon to be ex and the mediator. And that's it. In New York State, to get divorced in Supreme Court, it is an open courtroom, which means anyone can sit in the back of the courthouse, anyone can listen to all of the details. And a lot of times when you're speaking on the record, that means that it is being transcribed. So now there's a transcription out there of everything that's been said. There is no expectation of privacy when you are in a public courthouse in New York discussing these very, very personal details of your life. Whereas in mediation, the mediator is bound by the confidentiality that is in that room. They are not going to be discussing it with anyone outside of that space. Again, keep in mind that the courthouse, the courtroom is generally filled with so many different people, from court personnel to attorneys to participants, so many people coming in and out, and you have no idea who's who. You have no idea when your case is going to be called. Sometimes it can feel very much like a circus. Mediation is much more peaceful. You know who everyone is, and it goes at your pace. And when it comes to the actual outcome and the process to get there for that outcome, you have control over that. Whereas if you're in court, the judge has complete control over not only the moving parts and how everything moves forward, but the ultimate decision. If you go to trial, you're turning over all of your control and all of your autonomy to a judge who's going to decide on custody, equitable distribution of your assets. Where does all of your money go? Where does all of your property go? Maybe support. Where does that income go that you need to live? Retirement assets, your house, your bank account, all of it. The judge gets to decide that. The judge doesn't know you. They don't know you, and they don't know your family. In mediation, you get to make those decisions. You and your soon-to-be ex come together and make decisions that's best for both of you. And I will tell you, even if you have to give up a little bit, even if it feels like you're giving up a little bit, when you're walking away in mediation, that's a win. Because you should never feel like you went in and you won and you got something over on someone. Because if you both feel like you gave a little, you lost a little, well, then that's a success. Because in court, it's structured differently to have winners and losers. Where in mediation, it's designed to make you both feel a little bit uncomfortable, have you both give a little bit, but you can go forward in a way that's going to set you up for success so you can have your best future. And again, in the mediation process, you can hire other professionals who are there to assist you. Maybe you really want a mediator and you want to work with that one neutral, where the two of you are coming together, putting everything out on the table and trying to come up with resolutions. However, you really do want some legal advice. You want a sounding board to say, you know what, this will make sense legally for you. This will make sense down the road for you. And here's maybe legally what you might be entitled to. That's great. Then have an attorney outside of the room. Please choose an attorney who is mediation friendly, meaning that they do mediation, but they're also family law attorneys, and they can give you solid advice and solid legal counsel through the lens of cooperation without trying to say to you, oh, wow, you can get 10 times that amount if I take this to court for you. Well, if that's the case, then you could just run to court, right? And you can waste all of that time and money and you won't have a voice. However, if you're here in the mediation room, you can still hire that attorney to give you counsel, to give you feedback, to review agreements, to start making edits and changes with you, but they don't necessarily have to be your attorney of record, meaning that you're in court. You can also hire your own financial experts, whether it's a CDFA, a certified divorce financial analyst, or a CFA, a certified financial analyst, someone who can help you plan for your future, make your budget work for you, and stretch those dollars so that this way you're set up for success. And make sure that you're considering the retirement accounts. You're considering what spousal support might be, child support, what's going to happen when you sell the house. All of the bigger financial pictures, right down to the financial details of your future budget, those are things that you're going to be really, really well served with if you choose the right financial professional to be involved in the mediation process. In court, you don't really have as much leeway to do that. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't do it, but it's not embraced. It's certainly not welcome. And if it comes down to hiring someone like that or asking your spouse to contribute to this, that often leads to a battle if you're in court where the judge would certainly not court order that. And the other attorney might say, my client's not paying for that. This is silly. Well, it's never silly to plan for your future, and it's never silly to pull in the right professional who can help you with your right future. So a big part of what I've been talking about here is how divorce mediation can help you. The second part of what I talked about at the beginning was the court system. I do have to stress here that I believe that every case can be resolved through divorce mediation or through the collaborative divorce model. However, there are times when going to court might be exactly what you need. You're not necessarily going to get the protections that you might in court if you're in divorce mediation or if you're in the collaborative model. I still do encourage you to reach out and consult with divorce mediators in your area who can help, and make sure that you are choosing one who is trauma informed, who has experience with domestic violence or sexual assault. You can ask them that straight up. You can say, what is your experience with this? How comfortable are you with this? If the both of us come to mediation, will it be via Zoom? Will it be in person? What are some protections and some guidelines that you might put in place to ensure my safety, to ensure that both of our voices are heard? And interview as many mediators as you can and ask them the same questions about this. It's important that you choose a mediator who is experienced in this area and who is comfortable in this area. And you asking questions in the beginning about their comfort level, about their experience, that's very important. Trust your gut and know that this mediator, if they're the right one, that they're going to help lead you to a final resolution. If it does not feel like they're the right one, then guess what? They are not the right one. Choose someone else. Even if you find the right divorce mediator, you might still be thinking in your heart, in your gut, in your head, you know what, divorce mediation is not right for me. And it might not be. You have to be comfortable with moving forward in this model. If you're not, then court might be the best place for you. And please know that not all mediators will take cases that are high conflict, that involve sexual assault or any type of domestic violence. So make sure that you're vetting these mediators carefully and make sure that you are fully comfortable moving forward in that model. Here are 3 things to consider when you're assessing, is this the right model for me? Am I comfortable moving forward in divorce mediation? Number 1, do I feel safe in the room with my soon-to-be ex? Some mediators are not holding virtual sessions, so they do have them in person. And if you're required to come in person with your soon to be ex and you are physically not comfortable, like you really feel unsafe in the room with them, that's probably not the right place for you. You have to drive in there, you have to walk into the building alone, you have to sit and have very emotionally charged conversations and then leave separately. I don't think that that would work. Speak to the mediator about these concerns and see if they can hold it virtually. But if not, maybe it's not right for you. Some people don't even feel safe or want to be in the same room with somebody when it's virtual. Just know that if you're in court, you might be required to be there in person with your soon to be ex-spouse in the same space. However, there are different protections and different layers of security that are there in a courthouse as opposed to a mediation session. So if you physically don't feel safe being with your ex and talking to them, maybe mediation is not right for you. Secondly, if you're not comfortable advocating for yourself, or at least speaking up for yourself and saying what it is that you want, what it is that you're concerned about, and where it is that you're going to draw the line, mediation might not be right for you. Again, you can pull in other professionals like a divorce attorney, maybe even a divorce coach to help empower you to find your voice, maybe even express things for you. They can send things in writing. They can let the mediator know what it is that your position is or what your interests are for the future. However, you really need to be able to articulate what it is that you want and what your concerns are in the mediation sessions. And if you think that you cannot do that, maybe mediation isn't right for you. And lastly, if your partner will not agree, mediation takes 2 yeses and 1 no. The minute somebody says, no, I'm out of the process, well, then you're not in the process. So the only thing you need to agree on in mediation is that you're going to come to mediation. The rest of everything can be worked out because you're coming there because you need help to resolve the issues. But if you cannot even get your partner to come to the table, enter into the mediation process, don't try to drag them. If you're trying to force somebody to do that, it's probably just going to turn into a manipulation show. It's going to turn into them trying to take control of the situation, maybe even assert control over you again. And that is certainly not what you want. If they're willing to come to the table, even if it takes a little bit more time, even if it takes a little bit more teeth pulling, that's fine. But if they are absolutely adamant that they're not doing it, then mediation is not going to be right for you. And just a final thought when you're talking about sexual assault or any type of domestic violence or high conflict, if there are orders of protection that are currently in place, you can still do divorce mediation, usually virtually, as long as there's a carve out in whatever that court order is to allow that. So I highly suggest that if you do have any orders of protection, you speak to an attorney to see if there are any exceptions for you to be able to participate in mediation. You always want to consult an attorney and you always want to make sure that there are provisions that allow for that communication outside of this court order. Because if not, you need to stick with exactly what the court order says. And my final thoughts on this are, this is a very challenging time for you. This is not going to be easy. This is not going to happen overnight. And you are not going to find some resolution here, even if the legal part of it is done. You're going to need time to heal. You're going to need time to take for yourself and to support yourself and make sure that you're investing in yourself. And that will also include finding resources in your area. All across the country, all across different states, there are different resources available, whether it's domestic violence hotlines, it is shelters, there are sexual assault survivor groups, community groups, there are support groups. Please find any resources in your area and reach out to them and start to form a sense of community and start to take advantage of any resource that you can find. I am not an expert in this. I have helped many people through it, but that does not make me an expert in it. I can help you through the legal portion of it. The healing comes later. So again, reach out for any resources in your area. Check out our website on divorceden.com. We have a list of other resources across the country. Please take advantage of them, look them up, contact them, and start to create your own sense of community and create your best future. We hope you found value in the information that we provided, and if so, please like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who might find it useful. It really helps us reach so many more people who really need the resources and need the assistance.